You shall not uncover the nakedness of your brother. You shall not uncover the nakedness of your father. You shall not uncover the nakedness of other men by going into their wives. What's that telling you?
Having sex.
Say what?
Sex, having sex with it.
Having sex with your father's wife, or your son's wife, or your neighbor's wife. You shall not uncover their nakedness. When it says that Ham uncovered the nakedness of Noah, what are you just being told?
Noah was homosexual.
No.
No.
Sex with the mom.
Sex with the mom.
Yeah.
Ham had sex with his mother, Noah's wife. Why aren't you told Noah's wife's name? You are. It's Semiramis. It's the God of heaven, the queen of heaven, the mother of all living, Mother Nature. That's who is Noah's wife. And she, along with Ham, who was trying to usurp his father, by going into his father's wife, that's claiming authority and the power over Noah. The part about Shem and Japheth backing in and covering them, I don't understand that because it doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make sense, and I haven't figured that out. But when you uncover the nakedness of Noah, Ham tried to usurp his father. Ham, as we show in the teaching on Assyria, passed on this corruption onto Cush, who is the father of chaos, which is the authority, when we say shalom, to destroy the authority of chaos is what we're supposed to be doing. Only then will you have peace. Chaos is Cush. All this is found in this.
What day did Noah's Ark settle in Mount?
I don't know, whatever it says. 5 months after?
Right.
No, a year after, a year after.
I think it said that the 17th day of the first month, which is the feast of the first fruits.
Is it?
Yep.
Now that's interesting. I hadn't looked at that. Okay? So I'm just showing you some different things here, things that you can learn. This is a place that I've been. This is the pilgrimage place where Noah makes the sacrifices. There are caves in here, and I believe in those caves you'll find writings from Noah. And I can't get in there, and they wouldn't let me in there. But over here is a pillar. A pillar made of stone where Noah drew on the events of the ark, which are found in Genesis. The two birds going out, the blackbird going out, the dove going out, and the mountain, the ark settling beside the mountain. They're all done in hieroglyphics on this stone over here, which is now a military lookout center, and you can't go near it. And this area is always very dangerous. First from earthquakes, and also from people killing you because you're not Islamic. This is not Mount Ararat. This is the mountains of Ararat. Mount Ararat, if you're standing here, is over there. It's a volcanic mountain. When Noah was there, Mount Ararat wasn't. It has only come up afterwards. So let's go back to get where we were. This is a little diversion, which I like. As it was in the days of Noah, as it was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, matches our time today of when Satan is going to be locked away. The end of the tribulation. Here's something else. This is the year that Shem was born, or Ishmael was born. Ishmael was born to Noah, to Abraham. But this is the conception period, 9 months before. I speculate that something's going to happen here between Assyria and the Arab countries. Psalm 83. My speculation. So, we know when Abraham lived here. We know when Isaac is born in 2048. We're able to count back to the 13 years because Ishmael was 13 years old when they got circumcised at this time. So we know that. We also know that 1 year before was this year, and we know that. That's the age of Abraham. So by doing some simple math, you have 10 years between these two dates, and you have to calculate each year to see when the covenant was made. And I do that for you in the book. Again, the proof is in the pudding when you end up at the Jubilee year coming into the land of Israel. Everybody still with me? Got any questions? Pedro? You got a big question mark on the front of your forehead.
Back in the days of Noah, because in the New Testament, it was said that just like in the days of Noah,
Okay, hang on.
the same will happen to these days. Man will be, man,
Yep.
man will be building buildings,
Yep.
and after that,
Man will be passing Sogi laws.
yeah. And then that will be the sign of
No, it's not that will be a sign as it was in the days of Noah. So there's certain things that are going on. What I'm saying, what I'm suggesting, what I'm strongly urging you to reconsider is not what you've been taught about they're getting married and giving in marriage and dying and partying and doing bad things and evil. What are those evil? We don't know.
I remember now, somebody asked Yeshua, what will be the sign? And he told that like in the days of Noah, things will happen like this and like that. And that will be the beginning of birth pains.
The beginning of birth pains.
Yeah.
Yep.
And because you told this afternoon, when somebody asked about pre-trib, mid-trib, and post-trib,
Yep.
and you said that you are not talking about those matters, but the thing you want is everybody must obey.
When you understand the holy days, post-trib, mid-trib, pre-trib all disappear.
Yeah.
Because it's not the tribulation. It's the day of Shavuot when we're all changed.
So may I know your opinion about the beginning of birth pains?
Okay?
It's
It's right now. It's right now.
Yeah.
Let's go back to this here chart. It's right now. We got the blood moons. We got ISIS kicking up a storm now. This here, remember? This is when, in the days of Abraham, when there was war. And it's starting at that same time. We are in those birth pains now, those trying days. It's going to get worse. We have blood moon warning right now. We have a dark moon. We have a war curse coming, right? Leviticus 26, we talked about that this morning. Go ahead.
And this alarmed me.
This what?
This alarms me with the birth pains, the things that are happening today. And if I'm not mistaken, if people will not obey the Torah, maybe only 10% for the whole population will remain.
Precisely.
And I'm so
You're 100% right, because that's exactly what I'm saying. 10% of the United States will be left. 300 million. That leaves you with 270 million dead Americans. 10% of the Philippines will be left. That means that 90 million Filipinos will be killed. That's why this is important. That's why I'm here. That's why you got to get it. You got to understand it. You got to explain it, because you want to try and save maybe 21 million.
And maybe if I can appeal to
If who can?
If I can appeal,
You can. Yes, okay.
maybe like Abraham, when he appealed to God, if God will not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, if there is 5
10.
righteous,
10. He never went to 5. He went to 10. 50, 40, 30.
the list is 5.
No, it's not. It's 10.
10?
10.
I think it's percentage.
What?
It's the percentage of the population.
Percentage, yes.
10 what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Can you?
And Yahuwah didn't find 10. That's why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay.
10 righteous?
There wasn't 10. Who was righteous? Lot and his 2 daughters, and his wife turned back. She went back. She craved that lifestyle that was back there, which is Sodom and Gomorrah, which is Sogi, LGBT.
Yeah.
That's what she craved.
So,
Like,
okay, go.
Yeah, in line with this thing, please clarify us with the issue of, because the standard knowledge about prophecy, which was,
that mine?
perpetrated by Christians for a long time, is the position of retrieve,
yep.
retrieve and post-retrieve. So of course, like rapture, there's no such thing in the Bible as, there's no word for retrieve, there's no word for retrieve.
No.
It's a concept that
It's a man's conception. It's an invention.
So can you explain that in line with your revelation about Shavuot again?
Okay, Shavuot, there's the 2 wave offerings. One is at the barley feast at Pentecost or Passover. The other one is the 2 loaves at Shavuot or Pentecost, 50 days later. They're connected. You can only get to Pentecost by starting at the Pesach. So there's a connection there. They're both wave offerings. There are no other feasts with wave offerings. This one, he came out of the grave, Matthew 27, and the saints, the graves were marked. That's the marking of the barley, right? Have you guys gone through that exercise before? Friday afternoon, late afternoon, the priest goes out and he marks the barley that's ripe. Saturday, after the Sabbath is over, Saturday night, he goes out and a big crowd comes out. And he says, "Is this the barley?" And the crowd all says, "Yes, this is the barley." So is this the barley? And the crowd says,
Yes.
"Oh, come on."
Yes.
Is this the barley? And the crowd says,
Yes.
"That's better." And he does it 3 times. Is this the barley? And the crowd says,
Yes.
okay. So then he comes up and he says, "Is this the sickle I'm to cut the barley with?" And the crowd says,
Yes.
"Yes, this is a sickle." Is this the sickle? And the crowd says, "Yes, this is a sickle." Come on.
Yes.
Is this the sickle I'm to cut the barley with?
Yes.
Yes, this is a sickle. Boy, you guys are slow. Okay. Then he comes out and he says, "Is this the basket I'm to put the barley in?" And the crowd says,
Yes, that is the basket.
there we go. Yes, this is the basket. Is this the basket I'm to put the barley in? Yes, this is the basket. Is this the basket I'm to put the barley in? Yes. Has the sun set?
Yes.
Yes.
The sun is set.
Has the sun set?
Yes, the sun is set.
Has the sun set? Craig has only heard this umpteen hundred times. He's getting used to it. So now, then he cuts the barley, puts it in the basket, and they take it into the temple and they beat it that Saturday night. The lamb's never beaten, and he beats the barley until all the kernels fall out. Then they separate the barley to get the husk and the dirt away, so that just the barley, and then he puts in frankincense. What does frankincense represent? The prayers of the saints. The prayers of the saints. And this, you found this in Leviticus 2, how to prepare a grain offering. And then he puts in salt. What does salt represent? You, the salt of the earth. Right? That's the thing. Remember, the tabernacle is covered in a cloud. That's your prayers before Jehovah. What was your question again?
Uh,
Oh, the post-trib and pre-trib.
in light of
Yeah,
the
okay.
timeline,
Hang on. I'm back to the tribulation. The wave sheaf, right? So that's the barley. And Yeshua came out of the grave and he led a host of captives with him. Then he sees Mary, and Mary comes up to give him a hug, and he says, "Don't touch me. I have not yet ascended to my Father." Right? And Mary says, "Okay." Then something happens. We're not told what. But then he comes back and he says to the apostles, "Go ahead, stick your hand in me. I'm here. See the sore? Put your finger in my holes. I was there. I'm him. I'm alive." He'd gone up to heaven and now come back down. But he led a host of captives with him up to heaven.
So that's the barley offering. That's the barley offering.
That's the barley offering. The wheat offering is us. That's what we want to be in. That's the two loaves, Ephraim and Judah.
Oh, okay. So now
And there's leaven in them. So we're not perfect.
now
We-
we're being compared with wheat and tails, huh? Okay.
In amongst the wheat are tares. Right? Where's everybody that was invited? Where's everybody? I'm too busy. I got work to do. This is the same thing. They're invited to the wedding, but they had too much to do. They didn't care enough to come to the wedding. You guys did. And you're here and you're learning this stuff. So now, we want to be a part of that wheat offering. When is the wheat offering? It's Pentecost, 50 days later. Pentecost, Shavuot. It's at the end, because it says in Revelation, the 144,000 come out at the end of the tribulation. This is only going to happen one time. Everyone who has ever lived since Yeshua came out of the grave is still dead. All of the apostles are still dead. They are not in heaven. The saints who lived before Yeshua came out of the grave, they were raised up, as well as the thief on the tree. He was raised up. That was a promise made to him. This day, that millennial day, ended in 84, Common Era. So he was raised up. So we want to be in the wheat offering, which is Shavuot. That's going to happen one time. At the end of the 3.5-year tribulation, right here, Shavuot 2033. 4 months before the Day of Atonement when Satan's locked away. Okay? Ike, you got another question?
Sorry, you're talking about 50 years from 2033.
So what?
Are you counting it?
50 years from?
Say why you choose 2033?
Okay.
What's the beginning?
Let me get another chart up here. Okay. What I've done is the 8th day teaching, the understanding of the 8th day is the same as a Jubilee year. It's very special. It's also another hint, just like Shavuot. It's the 8th day. Everything, and I'm going to explain this to you guys when I get down there next week, everything in Leviticus talks about 7 days of purification. And then on the 8th day, you're clean. 7 days of purification. 7 days you're impure. 7 days for the leper. Then on the 8th day, you're clean. What are we talking about? Repeat it over and over and over again. It's the 7 millennial days. Right? The 7 millennial days. Let's see if I can find that chart on this. There you go. The 7 millennial days. We are unclean. And we are getting cleaned up during the 7th millennium. And on the 8th day, only on the 8th millennium will God come and dwell with us, because we have now become pure. We've put all the sin out of our life. That's what these things are teaching you. Do you see that?
So we will have 1,000 years of cleaning.
1,000 years with no Satan to get ourselves right And then at the end of that time, Satan's let loose for a little while. There's a war. And then all those people are destroyed. And we go into the 8th millennium. Right? Now there's a bunch of details in here that we can wrestle with and argue over for the next 1,000 years. And I look forward to doing that with all of you.
So the 7th millennium, he will be with us to cleanse us.
Okay, that's another teaching. We're going to hold off on that one for now. One major upset at a time.
Sorry, I still did not get it.
What don't you get?
The 2033, why is there going to be
Okay, yes, back to that.
3
That's
and
the
a half?
wheat offering. Wheat
Yep.
offering.
Oh, ah,
Pero, saan ang point, ang starting point ng bilang?
No, it was parallel with the events with Abraham.
Okay.
Is that right,
So?
Joe?
I'm sorry,
The 2033 is parallel with the event with Abraham. Or
with Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed, it's also parallel with the flood of Noah.
That's right.
Okay, so
Days of Noah.
as it was in the days of Noah. So let me see if I can pull it up here just to compare it so you can see it.
The Abrahamic prophecy.
Yeah.
This is the teaching I do for when I teach Abraham. Now it's got some things that you've already seen today, so I don't want to repeat it. What am I looking for? Sodom and Gomorrah, right? No, a comparison of Sodom and Gomorrah. There's Sodom and Gomorrah right here. Okay, and we're going to compare that to our cycle now. So we compare Sodom and Gomorrah to 2033. Again, the 8th day represents, the Jubilee year represents the 8th day. 7 days before that, or 7 years before that, brings you back down here. This represents Sukkot. 5 days or 5 years before that brings you to the Day of Atonement, or the Year of Atonement. And then 10 days before that brings you all the way back to 2024, the Feast of Trumpets. Okay?
So the 10 days.
This is the same fall holy day season. Only it's in years.
The last years of the 6th millennium is 2045.
The last years of the 6th millennium, yes, it's 2044.
So that means there's going to be a resurrection how many years prior to 2044?
Unless those days would be shortened, no flesh will be saved alive. Right? That's what Yeshua said. So I'm speculating that this is taking place here. Unless Satan is locked away at this time, no flesh would be saved alive.
So he will cut short the years.
He will cut short the 6th millennial rule of Satan on this earth.
Okay. So instead of 2044, we will
So
go
that
to
means we are looking at 2016 to 2033, only 17 years to go.
Till Satan's locked away. But all hell is going to break out before that.
70 years.
Because he's not going peacefully. He's going to the reason he wants to wipe us all out is so that we can't be part of the wedding supper.
Okay.
And then therefore God would be a liar.
So instead of 2044, you will cut short to 2033.
2033.
We got 70 years
So you
more.
don't see anything anymore at 2034.
I really don't care. If you survive the war, if you survive the 2,300 days of people hunting you and trying to kill you just because you believe in God, if you survive the 3.5-year drought that the two witnesses are going to cause on the world, and if you survive the beast coming to try and kill us here, and you get into the wilderness for 3.5 years, if you get to that end, I really don't care after that. I'll be so happy to be alive or be with him, one or the other. Do you see that?
So this is parallel with the Sodom and Gomorrah.
So yes, here's the 10 days of awe, starting at the Feast of Trumpets, 10 days of awe to here. Here's the 10 years of war, of judgment on Nimrod in an Egyptian court. how did that work out? It just did. I didn't know this was going to match that. I found that years later. Nimrod was in a court of law in Egypt, judged by Shem for 10 years. When Shem killed Nimrod, he tied him to 4 horses and tore him apart in 4 directions. Then Shem, who was now the president of the world, the leader of the world, they depicted him as a boar in hieroglyphics with golden chains coming out of his mouth touching all the people. What does that represent? The 2 husks are the power. They put him as a boar as an insult. The golden chains are the words coming out of his mouth going to the ears of the people, leading them back to Torah. In the pyramids of Egypt, the Great Pyramids, they call him, what'd they call him? I got it here. Let me see if I can pull this up. This is another interesting story.
So what you're telling us, those history is a prophetic events that will happen
In our time.
in our time.
Oh, there's where I put those pictures. I lost those pictures. I was mad. I thought these are the boat people. This is my prophecy of Abraham teaching now. Okay. No, I don't have it there. Pardon me?
The guy that we sent from Egypt used to know.
Typho. Is that what were you saying? I just thought of it. I didn't know what
I'm
you.
trying to find the Egyptian name, the god.
What they called Shem was Typho. Typho means president. It's also a slang. It's like a cuss word. Right? They called him Typho. And it's written in the pyramids to this day. Because they had taken away their emperor, Nimrod, and Typho replaced him. Typho was Shem. Okay, so do you understand the comparisons, what we're doing, going back and forth?
Yeah.
Ike? Oh, that's a big sigh.
No, that's comparison. The history in the past is a prophetic view. It's a prophetic
Big,
events that will happen.
big side
They
from
have
Pedro.
parallel.
Eh?
Big side from Pedro.
Big side from Pedro.
My concern is,
You get 17 years more.
yeah, and
Time.
You don't have 17 years more.
If we survive all those.
No, you don't have 17 years. We're right there in 2015. The covenant made with many is supposed to be broken at this time, or closed. The middle of Daniel's 70th week is at this time, when we are to be as not, when we are to be as if we never existed.
We will be cut off.
You have 5 years.
so that 2020 would be
The middle of the Jubilee cycle, which Daniel talks about, the middle of the 70th Jubilee cycle,
The covenant will be cut off.
the covenant made with many will end at that time, but Israel, all 12 tribes of which the Philippines is a part of, will be cut off and destroyed. And like you said, only a remnant will be left. So starting somewhere around here and going up until the 2 witnesses begin, we will be hunted and killed for 2,300 days. That's what Daniel 8 tells us.
Past the BBL.
If, well, BBL,
Part 8.
RH, or HR,
And the Saudi.
yes.
that 2020 will it not be the time that we will hear the last trumpet call of God?
Say that again.
Will it not be the time that we will hear the trumpet, last trumpet call of God?
Where? When?
2020?
Here?
Yeah.
No. Shavuot here. The trump will blast. When he came down on Mount Sinai, on the feast of Shavuot, Pentecost, to give the law, what was going on? What was going on in the heavens?
Lightning.
Lightning, trumpets blasting, getting louder and louder and louder. The trumpets were blasting on Shavuot.
So that means we will pass through the tribulation.
We will pass through the tribulation.
Yes? Okay.
There's 144,000, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes that are going to be changed into spirit beings and go with Yeshua and be with him forever. There is not another number there that I'm aware of, but there could be another number that is going to be changed into spirit beings at that time.
That's the rapture that will.
Yeah.
That's the rapture
My concern is
that everyone's always concerned about. That's when the rapture takes place.
that 10%,
Yes.
Remnant.
the 90. So I'm appealing to everyone that we should obey.
It will be
Yeah.
granted 10% to Abraham. He granted it to Abraham 10%.
10 people, not 10%.
Oh, okay.
It could be 10%.
It could be. I don't know what the number is.
Population of the world.
It says a remnant. Okay, so when you pass underneath the rod, right?
Wow, a big job to do.
Very big job. You got 5 years.
Why you bring peace?
When you pass underneath the rod, what does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, Corette. 10. No, actually, she's the lucky one. The rest of you are now shipped off the market to be killed. This is my 10% that I give to God. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the 10% I give to God. The rest of you are shipped off to market. Right? When you pass under the rod, that's what's going on. He's singling out the Holy One to keep. Okay, so what's the rod? What's the rod? Isaiah 16, I think it is. Assyria is the rod of my fury. Assyria, eh? You got it? Hang on one sec. Hang on, let me get this. Just make sure I got the right verse here. Isaiah 16. Nope, that's not 16. A 10, Isaiah 10. Woe to Assyria, the rod of my anger, and the staff in whose hand is my indignation. I will send him against an ungodly nation. Who's that ungodly nation? Israel. You. And against the people of my wrath. Who's God got the wrath against? The people who broke the covenant. You. And I will give him charge to seize the spoil. Remember we told you the 7 years of plenty, to seize the spoil. And to take the prey. And to tread them down like the mire of the streets. What have we been talking about? Some of you have seen it. The Assyrian teaching, the breaking in pieces. Assyria is going to break in pieces. That's the Thor. Watch the teaching on Assyria. It's an awesome teaching. I think it's one of my great teachings. Other people think Prophecy of Abraham Prophecy Club was a great teaching. Yet he does not mean so. So he's killing people he doesn't mean to, nor does his heart think so. He doesn't think he's a bad person. But this is Assyria. The Germans didn't think they were bad. Ike, what were you going to ask?
The 3.5 years, the other 7 years of famine and
Yeah, how are we going to connect this one with the 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine?
Okay. Let's see if I can find that.
Because right now, I think we are having a 7 years of plenty.
There it is. The 7 years of plenty represent Egypt, represent Pharaoh, represent Satan. So when Pharaoh Satan took Sarah, what did he do? He kidnapped Israel. Because Israel was not yet born through Isaac and Jacob, but he in essence kidnapped Israel. It's a prophecy for our time. And when all the spoils of the world came to Egypt, that's what this is representing. So we compare that here, and it starts at 2020 again.
So the plenty is, it's not speaking about food here.
It could be food. For the Pharaoh kingdom, Europe,
Oh, okay.
we will be slave labor to them. What did the Europeans, what did the Jews do during World War II? They used the Jews as free slave labor. And they just wore them out, and when they died, they went and got new ones. And when they died, they got new ones, and they kept doing it. And that went on for, how long was World War II? 1939 to 1945. How long is that? It's 7 years. If we count 7 years of plenty, now we got 7 years of famine coming after that, and that happens to match 2033 again. When Satan's locked away, that's when this famine or disaster will end.
So we will have famine by 2025.
By 2025. You could very well, because you're going to have sword and famine here. During the sword curse, you bake a muffin and you don't have enough, right? So you could have famine here. Then the next curse is you're going to eat your own kids. Right?
There will be still famine there.
Yeah.
So the curse is now one of
Jacob's
the-
trouble, the time of Jacob's trouble. They had an announcement in Jerusalem a number of years ago.
So you
that-
mean the curse is coming one on top of the other. It's being added.
It's being added to. Terror is added to drought and severe weather. The two of them are added to pestilence, right? The three of them are added to sword. The four of them are added to captivity and cannibalism.
That's the cycle of curse.
That's the cycle of curse, Leviticus
So
26.
The cycle of curse is when this curse comes, then after that finish, then another
If they
curse
don't
comes.
keep that
That would be nice that way. You only have one thing to deal with.
Oh, okay. So
But God says God is going to compound them upon you until you are destroyed.
if they don't keep the
If they don't repent and return to the Torah.
so like interest and money interest,
Yes, it's compounded.
compounded interest.
but this is compounded curse.
Yeah, this is compounded interest. Not for us, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, because we need to go.
Are you understanding now? You understand why I'm so passionate? Why my zeal is so strong?
Where in that
You're starting to get
passion?
100 million Filipinos. Like Pedro says, 100 million Filipinos, 10% left, 90 million Filipinos dead. Canada, 30 million Canadians, 27 million dead. That only leaves 3 million. The Americans, 300 million Americans, 270 million dead. The British, 54 million British, 5 what? 5.4 survive.
From all
Australia-
those- yeah, from all those compounded curses.
Each one. But I believe that they start here in the middle of this Jubilee cycle, according to Daniel 9:24. Again, there's two things you got to prove. You got to prove that this is the 120th Jubilee cycle. Once you know that, and you can prove that this is the last Jubilee cycle before the 6th millennium, then all these curses, all these prophecies must happen, well, we're right here right now, must happen before 2045. Unless those days were cut short, well, what's that mean? Where does it fit? This date keeps coming up when we compare it to Joseph's time, Noah's time, and Sodom and Gomorrah's time. Remember, this is the year that Ishmael was born.
So you mean those years are the same with Noah's time?
This compares, we're comparing, Jojo, we're comparing one chart, we're comparing this cycle with that cycle. We're comparing this cycle with Noah's flood, we get this. We compare this cycle with Sodom and Gomorrah and Abram's time, we get this. We compare this cycle with Joseph's time, we get this, and it matches this.
I see. So really he's keeping...
I change not. I'm the same yesterday, today, and forever. Okay, so David does a head count, right? David does a head count. He counts, he numbers the people. He wants to see how many people he has. What happens? He sins. How does he sin? By not paying the head tax to God. Whenever you do a census, you're supposed to pay 5 shekels per person to the temple. But he doesn't do it. So God comes to him through Nathan, I believe it is, and he says, you have a choice. You can have a sword come through your land, you can have pestilence come through your land, or you can have a famine. What does that tell you? No, it tells you something. It's the 4th cycle. This is the 4th cycle when those 3 curses come. They don't come here. This is pestilence. This is severe weather. This is terrorism. But here we have pestilence, famine, and sword. And that's what Jehovah offered David. Which one do you want? And David, I think, chose pestilence.
So that's why we have this death sad.
But then when you go to David's lifetime, and you know when David died, because he died shortly after that, this is just before he died. So it makes perfect sense when you understand the curses and how they apply. I'm the same today, yesterday, and forever.
So he has really a cycle of judgment at the same period, repeated
Yes.
all over and all over.
What I do in another study is I show you this one here, the pestilence. And I can go back for 350 years, and this starts like clockwork. The pestilence goes up this cycle and stops here for the last 350 years. It did not happen here. Why? Because I only learned about this starting there. And I had so much insecurity. You talked to me about insecurity. I'm nobody to be teaching this. I'm trying to teach this. Nobody wants to listen to me during these years. I'm seeing it getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and I think I got it figured out, this, and only up to here for the weather, and I think I already got it figured out. But nobody wants to listen to me. I'm a nobody. I'm insecure. I got no money, I got no backing, I got no help. So I just keep hollering and hollering and hollering. And I keep doing it. Then I keep the sabbatical year. Things start to happen. Now I keep doing it and people are starting to listen. And boom, things start happening in this year. Why? I don't know. But I went to Jerusalem the year that the covenant was made. This was to represent the year the covenant was made in the 3rd sabbatical cycle. What happened? I don't know, but I went there. I had to be there for Passover. That's when the covenant was made. Nothing happened. I think that's the year I took Corette and Jasmine out to the vineyard.
So we'll go next year.
That's 2016. We have a tour planned for Sukkot, 2016.
Next year.
So
I will go.
all this time, right? All this time, I'm learning the answers to all these questions I'm being asked. I'm being argued with, and I'm developing the answers. I'm finding them. When you get asked something you don't know, go and find the answer, so that you can go and present that next time you're given that argument. That's what I did during this time. So I believe, personally, that we have a reprieve from millions of people dying of pestilence right now. We had swine flu, we got bird flu, we got SARS, we got Ebola, right? Excuse me. And they brought Ebola to the United States. How crazy is that? But our time is running out. This is going to be the last chance you get to keep the sabbatical year before the war cycle begins. You may not do it correctly. You may not be successful at completing it. But you must try. You must try.
We need to, because the next Civita will be 2023.
By that time, you have to go through the war. When you're going through a war and running for your life, how are you going to collect food at this time?
No more food.
Well, I'm hoping the Philippines is safe, that we can come here and there'll be food year-round. My only problem about coming to the Philippines is I'm going to be head and shoulders above everybody else and they'll recognize me.
We have to come here next year.
Yes,
Come back.
Pedro.
How can we relate? Because in 1998, I read from Time magazine.
Yep.
It says that by 2019, the asteroid moving around the sun, together with other planets,
Planet Nibiru.
asteroid,
Okay.
a very hot object will hit the planet Earth by 2019.
Okay.
And 1/3 of the Earth will be burned.
Okay.
So I don't remember anymore the name of the...
I have read reports starting, maybe right here, that Planet X or Planet Nibiru or some asteroid or comet is about to hit the Earth. And when that happens, the whole Earth is going to be destroyed and that's the end of the world. But each year they come up with a new scenario.
That's
I don't, but here, listen to me. I don't listen to any of those.
Yeah, yeah.
I go with biblical facts. I've presented you with biblical mathematical facts. Mathematics is pure science.
Yeah, that is about science. That's it.
Yeah, that's
So
about
this,
science.
these asteroids and stuff, that's all considered Illuminati conspiracy teachings. So I don't listen to them.
The thing that amazed me is Revelation chapter 8,
Okay?
when the wrath of God will come,
Yep.
1/3 of the earth will be burned, and
So you're thinking about that asteroids will hit here and what that will
not really,
and
but
2019.
Okay, remember Ezekiel? Ezekiel had the hairs shaved off his entire body. And he threw 1/3 into the fire. Right? And then another third he threw to the wind and chased it with a sword. And another third he chopped up or did something with. And then a little bit he put in his tallit. Put in the corner of his tallit to protect it. And he folded that up and put it in his pocket. Then he reached back in afterwards and took some of those hairs out and threw them in the fire. I don't believe this asteroid is the fire. I believe the fire is Jehovah.
yeah.
And he's going to consume us with pestilence, famine, drought, or heat. When you read in Revelation, these things are getting hotter and hotter. And what does men do? They curse God instead of repenting with these sores from heat. The Euphrates dries up. The Euphrates dries up sometime here so that this army coming from the east can come and fight the beast and destroy the beast. Okay, yes? Time out. Okay.
So, this could also be tied up to the book of Revelation, those pestilences,
The what?
the plagues in Revelation,
Yes,
tied to this timeline.
yes. 3 minutes more
Okay.
Before 9.
before 9. So it's time, what is it, time to wrap up or is it time to go home? Okay,
So this cycle, what's this?
terrorism,
Terrorism,
extreme weather, severe drought, pestilence, and blood moons and dark moons
which is warning for the war.
for the war.
Famine.
Where is that, the common teaching about the 7-year tribulation is not applicable here.
That comes with the raptured people.
But you cannot attach this. those
No.
things here.
There is no 7 years of tribulation. It's 3.5 years, it's 7 years of captivity, 7 years of war.
So where do they get this 3.5 years?
It's the Daniel timeline. 490 years. He died at 483. That leaves you 7 years for the last 7 years of tribulation.
Ah,
It's a false teaching.
false teaching. Okay, we could have this in MLTC
We,
and Wednesday.
okay, we can do that. I want to do the 8th day, though. The 8th day is important.
So 8th day is on the night of the Shmini Atzeret. Tuesday night. On the feast.
Yeah.
That's the 8th day.
And I leave on the Thursday, so that's Tuesday night and Wednesday. Oh, I see. You want to do it Tuesday night.
Tuesday night we have a feast.
Oh, Tuesday night? No, it's a party night. We're not going to do much teaching that night. It's dancing and partying and singing.
So we can have a half day seminar on Wednesday.
We can have 2 half days. I can do the 8th day and this, if you want me to do this again.
The whole day?
Yeah,
Or what is it, 1 p.m. to the night maybe, or
whatever you want. I'm there.
Maybe one-
I'm there until I get on the plane.
1 p.m. until the evening?
Okay?
Right? It's clear. It's a history that is being repeated.
Over and over and over again.
And we have proven that through the facts and figures. It's a mathematical formula.
Do you want to ask the blessing on the night? Say good night.
Yes?
Go ahead. You, yes. Are we done?
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah. Do you want to ask a blessing? Close up. Our Father Jehovah, our powerful and great Creator,
Yes.
thank you, Father, for this small group tonight. It was a blessing not to have the other people come. Thank you for that opportunity to share the prophecies of Abraham teaching, to share this stuff so that even Ike got it, I think. And I say that tongue in cheek because I want everyone to understand this stuff so that they can begin to teach it. So I thank you, Father, for this time, this special, intimate time that we've had. I ask your blessing upon this evening. Have them go home and think about it, ask questions, talk about it, and learn this. Get ready for what's coming. We need more teachers here, Father, so I pray that these people will learn this so they can teach. I ask your blessing upon them. I pray that you be with them. Open up their eyes to your truth. So I thank you for this evening. I ask your blessing upon everyone driving tonight, that we all go home safe. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share your truths with these people. In the glory of your name, be brought about the entire Philippines. The glory of Jehovah's name, I pray. Amen.
Hallelujah. How many sheep are there?
Do I have that slide?
This here,
That prophecies?
I'll give it to you up in the room.
No.
No, we got to go now. Oh, you found it.
Those are these in the book of prophecies of Abraham, right?
Yep.
Sa gabi is government officials na.
We will bring him back here again.
Yes, may nag-confirm kanina. Sinundo yung mga barangay officials. Si Commissioner Bonnie.
Prophecies of Abraham. Where are you? There you are.
So, how many sheep must we have now?
Ay, dito ko makakain. Nine. Orlan. Leonardo. Brian. Pastor John.
When you were teaching, I was not focused. That's why I had it. Because, my job is to make sure the people are.
Yeah.
At this time, this is my part, bringing in the people.
You should
Next time.
What's man sheep are man?
Can we leave this? Can we leave Manaya? Ito ko
Monte Judah is teaching Daniel's timeline.
Daniel timeline lie.
Good night. Okay, driving back, right?
Are you using the term rapture or kotak?
No,
Drive with care.
it simply means resurrection.
Resurrection, or how about hearing the last trumpet call of God?
That's also related. Kasama din yan. They hear the great shout of a trumpet,
Yes,
di ba?
yes.
And the dead.
So,
Teruak yun. It means teruak. Teruak means trumpet sound.
yeah,
So far.
but 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, that last trumpet call of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first, and
So
we
para
have.
sound yun.
So,
Sound ng shofar yun.
anong event yung mangyari?
Trumpet.
Feast of
10 days
trumpet
of
is,
between Peace of Trumpet to Yom Kippur. 10 days of awe.
ang sabi kasi dun is, then we will be with the Lord forever.
Joe, you answer the question.
and not
They're
be
going to- they're
and
going
not
to
be
get you
divorced.
They're going to get you a ticket.
A ticket's
Yeah.
nothing. That's $1,000. My home bills, my expenses at home are about $4,000, $5,000
You
per
take
month.
it.
Per month.
But
And my wife, and
You've
my
got to
children,
bring-
and my grandchildren.
You've got to bring your wife here.
He's got to change. And
Yeah.
yeah, but
Take her here. She will see the country.
no,
She will see
she
the
won't like it here. You know why? It's too hot. She's overweight. And her grandchildren are back in Canada. She will not like it. So there's all these obstacles. So what I'm saying is I need you to
Yeah.
pray. I'm willing to come. I'm willing to come. But I don't want to come when I'm stressed out because I'm losing my wife and all my family.
Yeah, I understand.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I've got 37 years. We've had some bad times. I got 37 years and we're still together.
Yes.
So that's where I'm at. I'd love to come back. These people want to learn. I'd love to come here and teach them. I'd love to help do that. I'd like to be a part of that. It'd be historical.
Yeah.
But,
You initiated it, so you've got to
well, God initiated it.
Yeah, I know, but
he
he's
had it
missing
already
you.
ready.
You were the instrument.
But I have to have my family. I need some place to go home to at night,
I know.
right? Hey, this has been fun, but it's after a month or two of this, I'm going to get tired, right?
I
So-
understand. Without family, without wife, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
You for you.
yeah. And there's too many beautiful Filipino women who want to be nice and polite, and it's going to be too hard to do for too long. You know that. I know that.
You just have to have a blind eye.
A blind eye. I'll have to have 2 blind eyes, 2 deaf ears. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah. So, anyway, for now, let Elsa and Skulk know. Also tell Elsa that I want them to do a radio show with us, that we're setting up a radio station, our own radio station.
Really?
Yeah, we've had too much trouble with Hebrew Nations and the other Lamb Radio. I'm tired of it. I want our stuff on, only our stuff. I want their stuff
And
on.
where would you do that?
We'll
Who-
set
who
it-
would- Who would set it up?
Mitch is
Smoke?
setting it. Mitch is already doing it. He's working on it right now. So then Skull can do it in Dutch, or you can do it in Afrikaans, or you can do it in English. I don't care. And we'll put him on so that it matches Holland, right? We're going to get Ike to do it, and we'll put his on so it matches the best time here in the Philippines, which will be at night in our time. We can have all these different shows teaching this stuff. And okay, well, how am I going to? Well, you just do one show. Next week you do another. Now we got 2. And then the week after you, and we just keep turning them over
Yeah. So it goes on for the whole week, which is really.
every day, 24/7, right? So
That's
anyway, let Elsa know that. Let Sheila know that that's what we're thinking, and tell Elsa. Okay?
Okay. Tell me again, who's going to push that law?
Who's going to push what?
The law that you were telling me?
We're going to the Congress on Tuesday to get it done. To make a law for the Feast of Tabernacles and across this country.
To make it a holiday here, a public holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice.
Un-
That's really awesome.
unbelievable.
Yes. Whose idea was that?
That came about as a result of us going to the Congress for that first meeting.
Other one?
Yeah. The stuff, it's like dropping a pebble in the water. The waves go out, and you don't know where they go, but they go around the world. They just drop that pebble. We've dropped in, stuff is happening. So get back to work.
Get your
And thank
computer
you.
so you could
Yeah.